Greetings, and that's not the intro for this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to For the Most Part podcast. We are on episode 3, and this week's guest, you all know I like to discover music. That's what this podcast has always been about. So I want to introduce you guys to a local artist who has been doing his thing on the side, Mr. Tishon. Saying Tishon, I'm saying your name properly, right?
Yeah. My stage name is Tidal, but my name is Tishon.
Tishon, right. So tell us how you get the stage name Tidal,
well,
and tell us a little bit about yourself,
okay,
how you started getting into music and that kind of thing.
all right. Well, first, my name is Tishon. My government name is Tishon, but my stage name is Tidal,
Yeah.
and it's an abbreviation of my middle name, actually, called Tidali. And
Mm.
yeah, and so I don't know. A friend of mine and I were talking because I was going through this space where I was feeling like I wanted to separate my music from my personal self.
Right.
And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and it to me it's very corny to give yourself a sobriquet or a nickname or something like that. So it's a lot more natural if someone gives it to you.
To you, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And because yeah, it's not as authentic if it's you made it. Yeah, my name is Big John. So, Big John.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
more so like what speaks to you now. And
Mm,
like the last thing before we came off the phone, she was like, "What about Tidal?" And it just
mm.
stuck. I was just like, that has a ring." And so
Right.
it stuck, and there we are.
Here we are to that. So tell the people like what kind of music you do, because I've been talking to a lot of people and I think that it's important that the people who are watching this episode understand that the kind of guests that we have, they do everything. They do different things.
Right.
Tell us if you're doing production or if you're just the artist, if you're a combination of the two.
Okay. Well, I do all of it. I am a producer. I'm a songwriter. I am an engineer. Um,
Nice.
so I kind of do the full works. But I started in music at about 15, 16 years old. A bit of an escape. You're kind of bored. You don't have much to do, trying to stay away from trouble.
Right.
And I was already living here as opposed to back home. So it was a different environment. And I firstly fell in love with hip hop music. So it was more so that was my influence at the time. And
Mm.
art imitates life, life imitates art. So you do what you're inspired by. And so I, started doing hip hop and then I moved back home to Trinidad, which gave me that cultural influence of, back home again.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of all of it since then. But I think in most recent times, I've found that putting the culture first as opposed to the influence
Mm.
in terms of where I come from, um, it does more for you as an artist. To people, it
Mm.
resonates more. It's realer, It's like
Mm.
you it's like you could be inspired by something all day, but if it doesn't come from your core place, well then you know it's just
Yeah.
inspiration as opposed to something that could really materialize from you and be authentic as an artist.
Wow. Wow. Y'all, I think we just went to church for all of like 5 minutes there. I don't know if you're like you're secretly in the church and you're preaching and thing. No offense to anybody who's religious or anything like that, but I just think like yeah, you really talk a truth, a real serious truth there. You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you is where are you based right now? You're
I'm based in
in
New York. I'm based
so
in New
you're
York.
based in New York, right.
Honestly, I thought we were having a film. I didn't know if it was live, so I'm had people coming in. But I'm based in New York, and I've been here for some time. But I think that it's a unique time in
Mm,
music, period, where cultures are being exposed because of the internet. And so
right.
I think artists has a responsibility to really represent where you're coming from. And that's what the last statement was about. Kind of just being
Mm,
yourself, because I had a conversation with someone very prominent in the industry, the blessing of being able to talk to them for a while, and it was a real insightful conversation. And one of
Right.
the, it was from a place of like, who are you? Who is your market? Who are you speaking to? And I was like, yeah,
Mm.
music, because of way you feel, but you can't buy 10 million records.
True.
So at the
True.
end of the day, you had to make music for the people, right? And then
Yeah, yeah. You basically kind of have to pinpoint who your market is, and really kind of just start to zone in, hone in, and be like, this is what we're gonna do.
right. So if we step back for 2 seconds and we go, okay, I'm inspired by classic rock, like, Red Speedwagon and Toto, and let's say we're inspired by them, right? And
Let's
but
drop a clap for this man, guys. This is the kind of music y'all should be listening to. But
for
continue,
sure,
right?
for
So,
sure, for sure, 400. But let's say that's your inspiration, but you live in a place where no one else listens to that music, so you make that type of music. You even if you're
mm,
big, you'd be a novelty because no one around you, no one around the people around you has ever really created
mm,
something with this inspiration. But you see so many people around you do what like let's use soca,
yeah,
like rock trying to break through in a Caribbean country or hip hop. How
mm,
long it took us to kind of fight for this hip hop to have a place now. It's like
true.
because it's not authentically us, and you can't take that as a disrespect. I started doing hip hop, but at the end of the day, boom bap didn't start in Trinidad, ping pong started in Trinidad, so we
Mm,
had to respect it, and then
true.
cross the inspiration with life, so it makes sense. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I guess.
Wow. Wow. I mean, and that's such what's the word I'm looking for? Unique and a very truthful perspective, because the thing is like people like myself and you, of course, as you said, you listen to REO Speedwagon and those guys. I am like a Led Zeppelin, Metallica kind of guitarist,
Music, it's music.
Yeah, that's what I grew up listening to. I grew up listening to, and also inclusive in that was the 60s, the Motown era, the Temptations, the Miracles, and all them kind of thing.
If we
But
are appeal out, let the music be appeal out too.
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, when you're doing your creations, now you have to kind of really, it's kind of like, as you said, you kind of can't do hip hop, and I guess some people can do it. There's some truth to that, but maybe it's not for everyone.
You know,
What do you think about that?
I think do what inspires you, right? Let's not try
Too
to
critical.
let's not put people in boxes because the truth is
Yeah,
the talent stands where the talent stands. But
true,
I
true.
think it's more so I don't know what you're trying to do. Is one thing
Mm,
doing something and there's a next thing to be trying to do something and there's a next thing to be like focused on saying, okay, I know what this next step is gonna get me.
right.
And
Yeah.
there's a difference between that's what separates people trying to do music from people becoming professional musicians. Because it's
Mm,
self serious. It just so it really just weeds itself out if you think about it like that.
mm-hmm.
Because it will. All right, for a second, we have this thing where we're getting a lot of backlash and a lot of judgment for the type of music that is coming out of Trinidad, the genre,
Yeah,
right? But really and truly, art is imitating life. These people are
true.
just talking about their environments. They're talking about their realities. How could you just tell them that? Okay, cool. Yeah, it might be raw and it might be harsh and brute, but it's real and it's true. And
Mm,
unless you're trying to stifle that, then you have to let it go because everything grows from pain.
hmm,
Like if you think about all music comes from struggle. All music comes from sometimes the blues, African drums,
hmm,
hip hop music,
hmm.
rock. All of it come from some sort of pain, some sort of emotion. So it's like
True.
is a it, I have a friend, a really intelligent friend, and he made a joke that was it was like one of those really high science jokes where he was talking about gunman and the whole and he was like, this is a socio-economical issue.
Wow. Wait. Whoa. That's a mind blown. Hey, in my case, see, insert a mind blown emoji or one of them thing there. You all don't understand the depths to which this conversation just went. I don't think people understand that, but that's a discussion for our next.
Very much so.
Tishon, you're coming back. I just letting you know
Thank you
you're
very much.
coming back,
I appreciate that.
and we will just have a discussion about that, because I mean, again,
Mhm.
that it's part of our culture, and people will say, well, that's not me thing and whatever, but that's what people are experiencing. That's their real life, every day to day experience.
Mhm.
You know. One question I did have though, how I okay, so I will pose it like this: Afrobeats is a thing that's real popular right now.
Mhm.
How do you think your work is comparing, or in well, comparing is not maybe the right word, but in terms of the reach, that is it reaching your audience? Is your audience grasping that
Mhm.
Afrobeats, or is it that they stick into your stuff? Are you incorporating Afrobeats into your work? What is it
So
like for you, as especially as you're out there in New York too? So
right. So I think that's a great question because I believe that every artist has their own unique position that they have to play within their space in the music industry.
yeah,
Um, being a being a person who now has migrated and lives among the diaspora is a very different experience. So
true.
it's like my music now doesn't necessarily just have to speak to people who are common to soca and reggae.
Mm,
It's more of a wider palette. So I could take risks and to use inspiration to blend songs, and I take a lot of inspiration from Afrobeats, not necessarily sonically, but through how they do things. I'm
mm.
through conversation. I'm sure you could tell, is so it's a
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
thing where because I want to do this for real. This is not a situation. I see myself among people like Burner and Wiz, like in my mind, like Poppy, like in my mind, because at the end of the day, there's a position that needs to be filled within Trinidad space amongst the world. So
Mm.
there's a unique position of somebody who could stand amongst the stars and still cut a coconut and be a back standpipe.
Yeah, true,
Right? Who could
true.
have an articulate
So it's,
conversation?
so it's basically like you're gonna have to put on two sets of clothes if you really want to fit into this
Nah,
industry.
nah, you
More
just
than that?
one, just your authentic clothes,
Mm.
your one true outfit.
Right, right, right.
That's
But
it.
is that outfit like a blended outfit?
Of
So
course, of
okay,
course.
right,
Because
right,
then
right, right,
you
right,
gotta speak to who you speaking to.
right,
If it's a,
right.
and that's the thing, people get caught up with the hype and the way how other people's waves ride and not realizing that's
Mm.
unique to them, specifically to them.
True.
No, but even if you have a similar song, if your whole thing don't match, it doesn't click the same.
Right.
It
So I
feels like
mean, you could have, if you don't mind me saying, so it's like you could have the sonic sound that would be for the industry, but the image not there too. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
there's like a disparity between the
right.
two
You have,
kind of.
and that's what makes you have to fix. That's what you have as an artist have to try to find within yourself.
Right.
Because not everybody can wear the designer clothes, not everybody have the access to the money, not everybody
True.
so you have, and that's what I love about Afrobeats. Because when you look at their music and their visuals, they take away from what you expect
Fact.
and what what I should say media has caused you to almost expect to see.
True. Very
And
true.
now it's just like this is artistic, this is beautiful, this is
Mm.
it's grassroots and it's a guy in a field dancing and it's
Yeah. And that's the
something
thing that's selling it too. And that's what
and it's
people
real
want to
to
see.
them and it's real to them.
Yeah.
So if we
Yeah.
bring beyond, because all right, the lens of Trinidad is just the lens of the ghetto at the moment. But if you start
Mm.
widening that lens and you start getting people who went to university who also do music and people who have could travel and who have a wider mindset towards world understanding or just real life because it's beyond
Yeah.
what we have, then you start realizing that okay, there are super talented people here who could really help change the scope of this industry.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, but it
That's
takes
what
a lot of things. It takes a few things.
true. So all the hair in the man, he's literally more than just preaching with us today. He's really enlightening us, and especially as you are out there, part of the foreign diaspora, you are able to kind of say, this is what people listening to, this is what people want to see. They
I've had a
they
unique experience in seeing what resonates.
exactly.
It's here what bounces back and what comes back.
Yeah,
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 and that's a really, 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 really like cool thing to see because I don't think I've gotten anywhere near where I want to be.
right.
But in terms of being a student, I still can mind my language all this shit up because you have to in order to make it. People, it, and you only go for where you think you're capable of achieving, right? So
True.
if you think the heights of your career is here, then that's where you're gonna aim for and that's where you're gonna hit. But if you choose to say, nah, there is more, more exists. Why can't I have a piece of that pie? How
Hmm.
do I get there? What do I have to change about my, routine as an artist? What do I need to change about my, regiment? And because you have to take it serious.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Somebody just said. I mean, not recently, but I know one of our team members. He said is a product, and you basically shape. You're basically shaping yourself to be this product that the world is gonna
And
acquire
that's why it
and
needs to be
assimilate.
authentically you.
Pardon?
And that's why it needs to be authentically you. Because if it's not gonna last. It's not gonna hold up.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
Yeah.
some point in
Yeah.
time, it's gonna crack.
True.
It's gonna
True
crack
that.
in the world.
True.
You see so many people crack in front of the world, and it doesn't look nice.
Yeah. Very true. Very
Mm.
true. So,
Yes.
Tishon, what kind of collaborations we could expect? What kind of releases we could expect? I'm not saying drop the bombs, telling us
Well,
what exactly.
actually,
But
actually, that's a good question. Collaborating with a really um really good new DJ, young lady. I felt like it was a nice idea because one, I've seen her work. She
mm,
her scope is a piano, deep and
right.
dancehall. TRINI music as well, but of the diaspora. Um,
Mm,
and it's like she holds her own, and because she's a female DJ, and there's not a lot of them, it just looked good to see. And I was like, you know what, I think it'll be a good effort to collaborate on something like that. It's a song called 90 Degrees. Um,
nice.
I should be shooting in a couple of weeks, God willing, but yeah, that should be coming out soon. That's fun. I have a couple of
Nice.
pieces on the way, but collaborations. Yeah, I'm saying, I have a few, but I'm not gonna let those out yet.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. That's what I say. I just want the people to know that I have stuff coming up and that they
For
could
sure, for
keep the
sure.
eyes peeled.
Yeah,
And while we are to tell people where they can find you, and we will
yeah.
plug all of those things
Yes.
and links and all of that in the
Well,
description.
I'm on United Masters. Which means I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on iTunes, Pandora. Anywhere you can find music, you can find me. So
Nice.
there's a video out right now called Top Striker. It's on my YouTube. Um, Dropped in, I think, what is it? It was May. I think it was May. Can't remember. But I intend to drop a couple more. I have a regime. I have a routine. Um, where kind of set things up. They come out as time goes along now. It makes
Right.
because it makes it easier to organize yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. 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 So, tell the people where they could find you if you're on Instagram,
I'm on
Facebook,
Instagram.
socials.
I'm a bit of a I'm not necessarily a very you know
Yeah.
Instagrammy person, but I
Mm,
am on Instagram and it is very important. So while Apache WYLDAPACHE. Yeah, Tadel. You could even just search Tadel, it'll pop up, it should pop up.
should pop up. Nice,
Um,
nice, nice.
yeah,
Lovely, lovely.
but
All right.
every find music, find me.
Nice. So, Tadel, thank you, Tishon. Thank you for joining us. You're coming back, as I say, it have some conversations, sub convos in this
Right,
conversation
right,
and
right.
happen
Yeah.
here that had to happen again because you
Oh no.
really open up a different perspective there,
Yeah.
and getting people to think about your image and your product
You
as an
just take it
artist.
serious. Just take it serious.
Yeah,
Just serious. And that's the thing. If you take it all serious, then you'll weed out the BS
yes,
within yourself because you have standards for yourself. So it's like I can't be seen doing this. This is crazy.
true,
Like gimmick.
true,
This is just for like tomorrow, and then what's gonna happen? I don't want to be that person. You gotta figure it out.
true, true, true,
Be
true,
that kind
true.
of artist.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, ladies and gents, that's it for this week's episode. Again, Tadel, Tishon, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll share all of Tadel's stuff in the description below somewhere. There's always a link somewhere about, and you'll always get the information for everything that we post. Also, check out our site www.forthemostpartpodcast.com. And that's it. We will see y'all and we will hear y'all on the next episode. Peace.
So.